Okay. Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the October meeting for West Rock Hill Township Board of Supervisors. First part of the agenda is call to order and the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll all stand. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good evening, everyone. One point of order. Our third supervisor, David Collingwood, is out of the country. We do have a quorum, so we can continue with the meeting with motions and seconds, and majority of the supervisors are here, so we may proceed. Okay, first official order of business is if anybody in the audience has any public comments on the agenda items, if you'll please let us know who you are, come up to the podium because you won't be picked up for the recording unless you come up to the podium to speak. If anybody has any interests or concerns that they want us to focus on or think about before next meeting, please come up. And nobody coming up, going once, twice. Okay, thank you. Second, announcements.
We're going to have an executive session for personnel afterwards.
And then we get to the consent agenda, which is meeting minutes, plan review, plans to expire, emergency services, building and zoning, public works, planning commission, Penrose Regional Police, and treasurer's report. So Mr. Lippincott.
Yes, the treasurer's report as of September 30th, 2024, the general fund, $1,630,644.77. Highway aid, $217,665.23. Open space, $1,588,508.27. The park fund, $97,863.70. The equipment fund, $33,579.62. Highway capital, $143.15. Street light, $40,172.33. The reserve funds, the general fund reserve, $500,130.58. The American Rescue Fund plan, $531,886.11. Open space Manderfield, $41,646.58. Sewage maintenance fund, $212,928.24. Stormwater fund, $7,732.12. And the escrow funds, $2,446,659.77.
Okay, as usual, just for the emergency services, we do want to make sure to thank Sellers Old Telford, Tyler's Port, and excuse me, thank all of our Trumbullsville. I'm getting it. But I want to thank all of them. Remember that I think Trumbullsville still has their fall carnival coming up. But I want to thank all of our emergency responders since we've had a bit of activity over the last couple of days. But aside from that, I will make a motion to accept the consent agenda as read.
And I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Our next point of business is confirmed appointments, which goes to Mr. Nyman.
Thank you, Mr. Shermer, and thank you to the board for allowing me a couple minutes just to give you an update on the senior center. We try to do this each year. Had some health issues last year, so I didn't make it, but we're still in good shape. The senior center is very active. So I've given you a written copy. I believe you all got copies.
Yep.
So I'll just hit a couple highlights and then let you get on with your meeting. The center only has 2 paid employees, our manager and our kitchen manager. Those 2 employees are paid with their salary from the county AAA agency on aging. Everybody else at the center is a volunteer. Our building's about 20 years old now, and we're starting to experience some of the maintenance issues that you have with the 20-year-old building. We just replaced it. We have a state-of-the-art kitchen, but we ended up just replacing the refrigerator and the ice maker. Again, some of those things that we do. We have a conference room, we have a game room, we have a library, we have a legacy room, and I'll hit that legacy room just in a minute. Our building is climate controlled, handicapped accessible. We have a full building generator, and our building is accessible for storm related issues and is open during those times over extended hours. I won't spend any time going over programs. You have that listed. I've also given you a copy of our budget for our budget year runs the same as the county from July 1st through June 30th. As I've noted, our limited state funds and county funds we get only pay for a manager, assistant manager. All the other income that we get to run that center is locally raised. We get money from donations. We do have a number of fundraisers. Sometimes we're criticized for, you're having another fundraiser, but that's how we keep running. So we're having another fundraiser. We were at the gallery at the park, Gallery of Arts a couple of weekends ago. We do get grants. The legacy room again is a prime rental source for us. Probably about 45% of our revenue comes from renting that legacy room for birthdays, bridal activities. It's a really nice facility, and again, it's a major source of revenue for the center. And also from contribution from each of our municipalities, all 8 of the municipalities that the center services contributes to the center and to their operations. We do have a mortgage. Our mortgage right now is $860 a year or month, I'm sorry. And primarily the annual contributions we get from the municipalities we use to pay the mortgage.
Hey, can I stop you there for a second?
Sure.
The mortgage that you have, is that a 30-year mortgage?
Yes, I believe it is.
Okay.
Yes, I believe it
And
is.
and the building's about 20 years old right now.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And the legacy room, is that advertised somewhere for that people could see to rent?
It's on our website.
Okay.
Yes. And one of the things that I want to thank you guys for is because most of our municipalities do put those kind of things on their websites to help us
I was going to ask him that
advertise
next.
or whatever. So,
Is that on our website?
No, but we do have a link to it.
Okay.
so yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
As noted, our budget for this year is $160,000. And again, we'll be raising that locally. I'm not going to go over our list of activities. You have that. And I really just going to say thank you. I know that you gave us a larger donation from your American Rescue Plan Fund. A number of the other municipalities did, and we really appreciate that. The timing with us needing refrigerator and freezer was excellent. So again, thank you for that very much. But I don't want to just thank you for the money, because Greg knows when we apply for a grant or if we need support, it's like the link to your website on your website helps people know about the center. And when we apply for a grant, I know that we always get letters of support. You guys are very supportive, and that support helps the center be as successful as it is. And I want to say thank you. That's really why I'm here.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I would like to ask also is what else can we do to make the center like exposed to the public more? Is there anything else that may be?
We have a calendar of activities. I don't know. Do you get the newsletter? Does our newsletter come to this?
Yes.
But does it come to the
Is there something in our
to
newsletter?
your office?
We will
Township
do
newsletter?
articles. I can start sending him an email to add anything that he wants.
Well, and if you have a calendar, some of our, not all of our activities, but some of the fundraising activities, it may be good if you could put those on your calendar and just help us.
Email them to me so I can make sure.
I'll mention that to the township, to the manager, and
I'll add them to the calendar.
perfect. That would be great.
And I'd like to make sure that if it's not already, that it's in our newsletter that's given to each home twice a year.
Okay, appreciate it.
Some kind of acknowledgement of the community center.
Greatly appreciate
That
it.
it is there for their use.
It's our center.
That's right.
When I say that, all the 8 municipalities in
Correct.
Penn Ridge School District very actively are members and support.
And a lot of people don't know it, I don't believe.
Membership is $20, by the way, which is really, but the other thing that people don't understand is you don't have to be a member to use the center, because of the fact that the centers are part of actually the state senior citizens program. Anyone who's over I don't know what the senior anymore. But anyway, close to my age. No, seriously, can use the center. The center is open. The only thing that membership really does for you is we do have a number of activities that you have to pay to participate in. And there is a membership fee versus and a non-membership fee for those activities. But other than that, the center is open for anyone who lives, actually anyone in the state, but anyone who lives in a Penrith School District is more than welcome to visit the center and take advantage of those programs that we offer.
Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was just looking over the numbers. So you're getting about 1,700 people a month from the participants numbers. And I see we have about 30.
You're going to make me look that up?
No, I'm looking at it now, but I'm just saying.
Well, that's what's in the report. I help generate the report, but I have a manager that pulls the numbers and I don't micromanage.
No, I know.
And that's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
We got 37 members from West Rock Hill. So what I'm curious about is what else can we do to help get more membership for you, which is probably going to be the recurring theme for this meeting for you, for other groups, for the park.
Well, and
What else
maybe
can
in
we
your
do?
next newsletter, just a highlight of some of the annual report that we present to you as a municipality that participates. Just a couple of highlights that will tweak interest in your residents.
If someone does want to become a member, Dave, where do they get the application?
It may be on the website, but I don't want to say that because I'm not 100% sure. But just stop in the center. Just stop in at the center.
Or we'll get some.
Yep.
And have them at the counter here.
Yeah. Well,
Out here. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. No, thank you guys. Truly.
Have you been able to reach out to the retirement communities in the township? Rock Hill and,
We do not. We do not specifically do that.
okay,
We don't recruit members.
okay.
Okay.
You
But
provide
we,
a service.
but we invite them.
Yep.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome. You guys have, this is my third meeting this week, so I'm not going to stay and listen to the rest of yours. Please excuse me.
Have a good night.
Have a good
Be
meeting.
safe.
Take care. Yep.
Good night, Dave.
Okay, moving along, and next thing we have our committee reports. We go to Park and Rec with Mr. Rice.
All right. Successful 2 weeks. Last 2 weeks were great. Gotta say, it was awesome. Septemberfest, a little cloudy. I'll take it. It didn't rain. Rained a little bit during the week, but it was a great day, I think, in my book. Between everybody that on the Park and Rec, the volunteers from the administration, the volunteers from the oh my God, how many guys do we have there, Greg? 3 or 4 of them?
4. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, we had so many people, so many volunteers that were here. We had all our committee members. We had our junior committee members, all the volunteers that came out. We had the police department. We had 6, 7 police officers that were there. Septemberfest. It was a great, cool shirts that they had there. That's why I wore it tonight. It was just awesome. It was a great day. Ferris and Fifi were cool. All the kids loved Ferris and Fifi. I got a couple big hugs from Ferris. So it was cool. The turnout was, we had Liberty Trail Girl Scouts. We had a ton of events, and everybody always comes up to the, right to the first booth, and they're like, how much does it cost? Where do we get tickets? It's free. With the exception of the food trucks, it's free. These events are put on based on what our sponsors donate and give to the Park and Rec. That's what we do with the funds, and we put on these events. This was the 29th year. Next year is going to be the 30th, so we're going to step it up a whole extra notch next year for the 30th year. So I'm excited for that. Let's see. Saturday night, we had Transylvania 3 over across the street. It was Feature Film and Fire. We had the biggest night yet of our Feature Film and Fire night. It was about 75 people. We had little fire pit compliments of Jay and some wood and stuff like that at the fire ring. Everybody loved it. It was a nice night. It didn't get down to too chilly. Transylvania 3, it was just a Hotel Transylvania 3. We had some extra ice cream left over, so we're like, what better than having ice cream and some hot chocolate. So we had ice cream and hot chocolate for everybody. We had Nathan and Courtney, two of our police officers, were there. Had some, they had a table full of stuff, t-shirts, as well as coloring books and all that kind of good stuff. So it's really great to see that the police officers are out there and they're at our events. I love it. I love seeing that, and the kids' just interaction with the police officers. I think it's so important. So a big shout out to everybody that helped. Our committee members are great. I mean, we had another successful night with our committee members that were there. Let's see, coming up, our November meeting, I'm going to ask for permission for a November meeting to advertise for our November meeting change, because the fourth meeting will be Thanksgiving. And we weren't 100% sure, and I think we should have probably scheduled it way back in January, but so we're going to end up having to pay for it. So I just am going to seek approval or permission to advertise for the meeting, whether it's a second or third. I'm going to hit up my committee members to see if it's a third or second or third Thursday of November.
I'll make a motion.
I will second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appreciate that. And we got coming up our 2025 projects. We're going to be looking at expanding our dog park. So we're going to start getting heavy into that, looking at pricing, upgrading and fixing our shed, because it's kind of getting old, and it's going to do a little bit of work on that. So we're going to be starting to look at that kind of stuff. It was really a good year. I'm very happy. We have a great group, full committee, 2 junior members. It's just fun. I mean, after 15 years, it's still always a good time. So that is my report.
Well, Dave, I just want to say thank you. I texted you and Maggie, and I want to tell the public how proud I am of the Park and Rec, the team effort that was put in for all the events, whether it was the Kids Fishing Derby, September Fest, or this movie in the park. They really have stepped up to the plate and shown, what a wonderful community event we can do for the community. So thank you again.
Absolutely. And that's all based on what the sponsors, donations and sponsors, share with us. So
Yep.
That is why. Thank you.
I'll make a motion, we approve the Park and Rec report as presented.
I will second. All in favor?
All right.
And we get to Conservation Committee.
The Conservation Committee met on September 19th, and the highlights from our meeting are the following. Acreage ovals, we have the acreage ovals in and are finalizing steps to get them on the signs. I don't know if you've seen them on our signs. We have a little acreage thing smack in the middle that tells you how many acres are preserved on each property. Some have them, some did not have them when the signs were made. So we're just trying to add those to the signs. Conservation easement postcards. I'm not sure if you're aware, but some larger landowners are getting postcards in the mail from developers asking them to sell their property. And so we're going to kind of counter that a little bit. We've created a generic conservation easement postcard, and we're going to send them to these property owners and ask them if they would prefer to put a conservation easement on their property. And that way we get open space and the landowners can continue to live on their land and own it. So we're getting a collection of the most applicable property owners, and we're going to send out the postcards to them. Conservation Committee made plans to set up an information tent at the September Fest to hand out literature on conservation easements and talk to the residents. And then also we have reusable Conservation Committee shopping bags that we have available for a donation. Unfortunately, the weather forecast was getting pretty bad, so we had to cancel ahead of time. I think it turned out that it wasn't so bad at all, but by that time we had already made our decision. So our next meeting is on the third Thursday of odd numbered months. So that will be on November 21st, 2024. And that's a Conservation Committee report. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. I'll make a motion, we accept the Conservation Committee report as presented.
I will second. All those in favor?
All right.
Next, point on the agenda is the Joint Rec Authority report, which is given by me. I will just give it from here. Hopefully everybody can hear me. The Joint Rec Authority met on October 2nd, 2024. We approved all the minutes. We had a balance at that point of $3,700. Fundraising update. We didn't make much money at Septemberfest. We had a fair number of people through, but it was a somewhat slower day than usual. We're going to be establishing petty cash for the Joint Rec Authority so that we have funding to put together baskets and other fundraising. We had a bunch of volunteers come out to help clean up and winterize the pool, clean up everything. We have had the tree that came down has been removed. We've had one broken window, which has been fixed. We had $565 from the Gallery of the Arts. We did have a request for capital expenses recovery to West Rock Hill Township, which we're still kind of working out. We are now thinking about looking at a new vendor for the snack stand. So if anybody knows somebody who's interested in running a small snack stand, ice cream stand as part of their other operations, we'd be interested. We're still hoping that our prior vendor will come back, but we aren't entirely certain. Looked at this 2025 swim season preparation. One of the things which was requested is to see about getting a new pump put in and get the plumbing put together so that the pump is automatically priming. Right now the pump sits up, and if you turn the pump on without getting the water in, it's just like if you have an old-fashioned farmhouse and you got a jet pump, you got to prime it to make sure it doesn't burn out. And since these pumps are quite expensive, we did have a request for $6,500 as an advance on the budgeted amount in order to get an order in now, so we have a pump coming in for 2025 and enough time to put it in. We have Mr. Krauthamel has been going back and forth looking through a lot of information. Aquatic facilities design, feasibility study estimates were about $52,000 for a feasibility study. Last time we did a feasibility study was 2011, which cost significantly less, and it gave us a whole bunch of list of things that we should be doing and should have done. Unfortunately, most of the things from the 2011 study have never been actually completed. We have a couple of, we had some discussion on legal matters, and we have the upcoming ballot question for West Rock Hill residents on whether to enact or whether to authorize the West Rock Hill Supervisors to investigate a financing of the pool through a dedicated recreation tax. Back in 1971, the pool was initially financed by $15,000 per year from Sellersville and West Rock Hill. In 2024 money, that's $150,000 per year for 30 years. And as Mr. Nyman just pointed out, the senior center is now 20 years old and they need money to fix things. Well, right now, the pool is 50 years old. We had a 30-year mortgage with a set amount of $15,000. That then has been about $13,000 plus occasional additional money when something breaks and we need to fix it right now. But we have estimates of, trying to figure out what we need, somewhere in the $60,000 or $70,000 per year is most likely. And what we're looking for the ballot referendum is permission to investigate a tax as one of multiple different ways of financing this. When the pool was first built, it was done as sort of a sale and lease back, where the township and the borough both rented the property, paid rent, and used tax dollars for that. This would be a specific tax going to that, or actually it allows the township supervisors to consider a specific tax to fund this. It doesn't mean that we have to. It means that we can investigate this way of getting funding. It's very similar to if you ever go out to buy a house, you go out to the mortgage broker and you figure out what's the maximum we can afford to buy a house. And you hope you don't pay the full maximum, but you at least know what the maximum amount that you can afford is going to be. Uh, Aside from that, I don't have any other updates, but I did want to consider whether we might be able to get an advance, since we have a budget of 13,000. I know that we're looking at putting a pump in, whether we could get the 65. I'll make that as a separate motion. But that's the end of my report. If there are any questions.
I have no questions other than you did a very good job of giving the report.
Thank you.
As far as making any movement on any advancements, I will table that till Mr. Collingwood is here so we can discuss it again,
Okay.
which will be next month.
I did have one last point, that we do have a Joint Rec Authority end of season report, which I believe is up and available through one of the websites, which gives everybody multiple pages of what we did, what we're thinking, how we're looking at moving forward.
Do you have any of them on the counter out front?
I don't think so. I'll have to
Okay.
print them up or send it over and then print them up.
Thank you, Hal.
Okay.
With that, I'll make a motion to accept the Joint Rec Authority report as presented.
I will second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next, we get to our tax collector, Suzanne Clark.
Okay, do have a dismal report for the month of October so far. I've only collected $504.26 in annual taxes and $24.66 in 2024 interims. I have not collected any more streetlight tax. However, I do have a couple tax bills that are still outstanding, so that may come in before the end of the year. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you.
I have no questions for Suzanne. I'll make a motion. We accept the tax collector's report as presented.
I will second. All those in favor?
Aye.
And we get to our engineer's report, which should be short.
Should be, but there actually is two items.
I'll do is better than many.
Right. The first, well, both of them are select properties, but the first one, I don't mean to get Mary off guard, but I forgot about this earlier today. The Lawn Avenue and Ridge subdivision, the triangle property
The triangle.
between the exit ramp and Ridge Road. That time extension, their last 6-month time extension goes to the middle of November. So this will be your last meeting. So I would recommend that we make a motion to deny the plan unless an extension is received.
That sound appropriate, Mary?
Yes.
And our last review letter goes back to July 6th, 2023, because we had 2 6-month extensions. It's been a year. So.
Okay, so I'll make that motion.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
So we're conditionally denying the select properties Real Pro development at Ridge Road, Lawn Avenue, and 309 bypass unless we get an extension.
Correct.
And that is on the exit ramp, which would be the southbound side, right?
Correct.
Okay, making sure we're all clear on that.
Yes. I will relay that to them. I know, well, Clay's always out of town and Brian Grant is out of the country also right now. Probably why we didn't get another
Well,
extension.
you have to notify them of the board's action within 15 days. So is somebody going to be responding to you within the next 15 days?
Yes. I will get a response one way or the other. We'll do. And Ben Goldthorpe has been covering things for them in the other gentleman's absence. Okay, the second one is the select properties annexation plan. That's the property up on, well, between Forest Road and Tower Road
On the hill.
on the hill. It's not the subdivision plan, it's the lot line adjustment plan. That has been approved. We're working through the final paperwork. We have the plans here for signature, and since you only meet once a month, we'll have them on the table after the meeting that you can sign the plans. We'll hold them until all the paperwork is resolved before we record anything.
Okay, and that connects the properties up on Tower Road with the house with the roller coaster on,
That's going now.
used to be.
Or the house on Forest Road.
No,
It's only it's only a Tower Road, which is part of.
right. The property that comes down to Forest is not the property that has the roller coaster on it. It's right next to Zimba,
Yeah,
property next to Zimba.
the property next to them is the one that had the roller coaster.
Oh, okay, so I'm getting mixed up.
You are.
In any event, it's the lot line adjustment plan, not their subdivision plan.
Okay.
Yes, okay, very good. Thank you.
It's here for signature.
Do we need a motion on that to sign or not? Mary?
No, it's an administrative function at
Okay.
this point.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, we've just as a policy have brought them up, so it's reflected in the minutes.
Okay.
That's all I have then, unless there's any questions.
Okay, in that case, I will make a motion to accept the engineer's report, sorry.
Yep, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we go to our solicitor, Ms. Everly.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I do not have anything to report this evening.
Good, so we don't need a motion. We skip over to the manager's report. Mr. Lippincott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last week, the board was given the first draft of the 2025 budget. At next month's meeting, there'll be a presentation. If the board has any questions or adjustments over the next month, please let me know. At the November meeting, it will then be authorized by the Board of Supervisors for advertisement, which then it will be a public record for 30 days, and then the board can adopt it.
Okay,
And there's no proposed tax increase.
yes, that was,
And that's all I have.
all right.
Thank you, Greg. I'll make a motion. We accept the manager's report as presented.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Then we get to old business, American Rescue Plan. Excuse me. Old business, ARP fund plan discussion. We had a special meeting on October 22nd, and we have our moving forward with trying to figure out how to disperse monies to the most important entities in the area. We already had Mr. Nyman from the senior center, which received some ARP funding. We have ARP funding going to road work, and we're looking at ARP funding towards some of our fire companies.
Yeah, we had a really good meeting with the 4 fire companies, and we gave them a task to come back to us with guidelines on how they would spend that money for recruiting and training. And they all agreed to do that. So when we hear back from them on that plan, we will be taking action. We probably will, well, we're going to wait until Mr. Collingwood is back so we can discuss this as a full board. You haven't heard anything yet, have you, Greg?
No, I have not heard anything from, they're putting together a plan and they're going to give it to the board to review before the November meeting.
We had our fire commission meeting last week, and I did want to make sure to thank, because when we met at Sellersville Fire Station while they were collecting relief aid. So I want to thank them for their responses. Okay. Do we have any new business?
I have that.
The one thing I was thinking of for new business is to consider ARP funding to pick up a speed sign. Because we've had problems with a couple of crashes with bad results in the township. And if we can pick up a speed sign, doesn't need to be now. I guess you wait and watch to see what Granger has for them, because they're about $3,800, unfortunately, for a speed sign. But we've had a couple of fatal accidents and a couple of nasty accidents, and hopefully if we get our own speed sign, we can help, one, collect data on our local roads, because normally PennDOT will do speed studies, but they won't do our local roads. We have a couple of local roads which can be pretty nasty.
Understood.
All right.
I do want to ask this would be a new business too. The cross pipes, the ditches, clearing and stuff. Are we on an annual maintenance plan? This kind of stuff.
Yes, we're still on an annual maintenance plan of making
Because I
sure that
did see they did do some cross pipes on 1,000 Acre Road.
correct.
Right?
All the cross pipes are done on 1,000 Acre Road and the paving's supposed to be done soon on 1,000
So
Acre.
everything was addressed there that was identified as an issue, a potential issue.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
The only thing I can think of is I forgot to mention, and for Septemberfest, to make sure to thank all 4 fire companies for coming out and sending their guys out to set up, put the fire put the fire trucks out and come out and say hi to the kids, which everybody seemed to enjoy. So that's no more new.
Oh, I will add also, something on new business, as you probably saw some signs advertised. Tylersport has their haunted hayride yet this coming weekend. This last weekend and this weekend. So if anybody has the opportunity with kids and stuff, it's always a great event to see if you haven't seen it yet. Encourage you to go see it.
And we also have a big sign out while we're doing PR for the electronics recycling coming up this weekend as
Correct.
well.
Is that, the shredder was last weekend?
Yeah, Shredder was last
2 weekends.
2 weekends.
Yeah, 2 weekends, October 26th, I think it is.
Oh, it's coming up.
It's coming up on October 26th.
Okay.
The electronic, the shredder was last weekend.
Okay.
And 2 weekends from now is the electronics. It's also drug take back and the county's hazardous waste up at, I think it's Milford, Reagan, Strayer. Somewhere up in Quakertown is the hazardous recycling. That's on our website too. So there's 3 events 2 weekends from now.
Okay.
Okay. Next part of business is public comment. If anybody has any public comment on what we've said.
Yeah, Richard Koke, 1221 Long Avenue. I was just wondering if there's any updates on the other Long Avenue development by Sweat Property.
No, not at this point. There is not any updates.
Okay. They said they were going to respond with a formal letter. Have they ever done that? My comments that I made. I mean, they wrote to me, but they said they were going to send you.
They did, well, I don't think they send me a formal letter. I know that I talked to their solicitor about it and he showed me the documents. You are represented by counsel, right? You have an attorney. You need to get an attorney because you need somebody to advocate for your position. I can't do that as township solicitor, and you're certainly not going to do that as a developer, so you need to get an attorney.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. I think next set of comments. Oh. Got to sit in the front to be quick.
Don White. So I guess I have a little bit of a rant this month.
No.
You miss me, Mary?
Yes, you were gone.
Well, not hard to believe you were gone. There you go. That's what my wife said. So I also have a thank you. I'm thanking you for, finding some money to help the fire companies with and donating to them. I do appreciate it. That's an issue of mine. The rant is, so a statement was made at a last couple of meetings ago that the township, one of the supervisors said that supervisors are being attacked with the fire company funding issue. I would just like to say that, an American citizen coming to a public meeting and redressing grievances with our government is not an attack on government. January 6th was an attack on government. It was a treasonous attack on our government. What I'm doing is not an attack. I'm not attacking. I'm trying to get something straightened out and fixed that will cost us less in the future. We have the right to peacefully address our government. It's in the Constitution, the First Amendment. It's also in the Magna Carta from 1215. This is all normal stuff. None of this should be identified as attacking the government. I know it seems like there's a minor situation, and why am I raising Cain about it? I'm raising Cain about it because we're kind of losing rights and freedom in America at a pretty rapid rate. Books are being banned. Healthcare is being restricted and banned. Bibles are being put in schools, and Bibles are being taught in Oklahoma public schools. Whole groups of Americans are not given equal treatment. I mean, and right here in West Rock Hill, social zoning is out of control, in my opinion. So I would also like to say many people after these meetings and in public have expressed agreement with me with what I'm doing about the fire companies. They think it is the right thing to do. So several times I've asked them that, hey, it would help if you also spoke up and said something at the meeting. And they always kind of sheepishly decline. My opinion is the residents are afraid of you guys. Whether you like that or don't like it, I don't know, but that's the opinion I get. A lot of people have approached me and none of them are willing to say anything. So the township only allows what, I guess it's 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes for an American citizen to redress our grievances. That's kind of not much time. And the only other thing I want to say is this is hard. I agree, and I thank you for giving the fire companies money. I disagree with you micromanaging that money. Those are professional organizations that can take care of their own business. Thank you, that's all.
Okay, thank you.
Brian Landis, Augustine Road. I was just curious, is there any update on what's happening with the North Penn Water Authority running down the bridge? Do we know?
There's no update. I do not know. Have you heard when they're going to start? They're supposed to start this fall,
Yeah, that's why.
but I haven't had an update.
Yeah, I don't have an exact schedule either, but they're moving toward getting the project started.
I know you were out of town. Did anybody go to the DEP meeting at the Tylersport Firehouse?
Yes, I did.
Well, that's right. I did see the So there's the presentation. I was thinking for Steve, there was some really good information presented just about the water in this area, specifically like the Lockatomic runs under here. There's just some good general unbiased information about what we have here. They're talking about it's not very well fractured. It's not very well replenished. So as we look at these developments coming in, it's just good information to have at hand, I think. So that they streamed it live, but they also taped it, so it's available on the website.
Okay.
So just for you guys to be aware that that information is out there. It's just good information about what we're dealing with from a water standpoint. And next to me, they want to put 9 wells at least in the original plan. He's on that table. So I know that these other developments coming. And thank you for the speed limit signs. I don't know if this is one of those things we mentioned at one of the meetings that Cheryl, that there's a speed, we call it the Almont Speedway. And within less than a month, we now have 35-mile-an-hour speed limit signs coming the other way. So I know, but at least now they. And there was a police car out here today, and I saw it, and I'm like, oh, another one with nobody sitting in it. He was sitting in it. So
Good thing you weren't speeding.
oh no, my neighborhood, I go slow.
One thing which I would mention is about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I remember there was a survey crew essentially with one guy walking down Ridge Road with a camera pretty much videoing the entire road with a truck behind him. So I assume that that was part of their survey for working on how to rearrange and making sure about the conditions of the road before they start tearing up Ridge Road to put the water in. And just to follow up, there was a meeting recently over at the Tylersport Fire Company, which was hosted by Salford Township and DEP, going west from County Line Road and a couple of places in West Rock Hill. There have been a spate of dry, shallow wells. So DEP was out there. That is up on their information. And they have, they have the DCNR information on groundwater in the area. And this area is black shale, really, really hard. If anybody's ever tried to put a post in for a fence, they know that you go down 6 inches and suddenly you're into black shale and it's really hard. You go 200 feet that way, you're into the boulders, which is why this area is important. At least that's why the quarry is there, because you've got the black shale, which has been baked by the magma that came through. So it's kind of like brick. Instead of being soft clay, it's now a lot harder, which is what makes it economically viable. The question is, how many cracks do we have? Since I have a crazy second uncle who has the train for Septemberfest, but also lives on Gold Mine Road and owns the gold mine, there are cracks in the rock because that's why we have a gold mine on Gold Mine Road. And a little bit of gold in there, but not too much.
I know this is not just a minor thing. So they had mentioned, so this came up because of the quarry, right? And it went out, but they had asked how many people had called in about wells going dry. And the comment was made by Greg's counterpart at Salford that no calls had come in from West Rock Hill. Which again, why would we? Because we're outside that 1 mile perimeter. So we have a West Rock Hill Facebook page about development stuff. So Greg, I apologize, but I ask people if they are going dry, they should just make you guys aware, just so that at these meetings, if people are asking, sorry, buddy.
It's fine.
If they're asked, so it sounded like the problem was just in Salford because she said that they hadn't gotten any calls from West Rock Hill. So I think it would be good just as things are drying and talk about water replenishment and wells going dry, probably be good for us to have that information. But I just want to make you aware, if you start getting phone calls, it was just brought up at on our Facebook page.
Yeah, and there actually is a separate 1990-91 agreement between West Rock Hill Township and Naysville Quarry about replacing wells within 1,000 feet up to 2,000 feet. I know we have the map up there somewhere. Part of that is about 15, 20 years ago. Actually, it's 2000 because 1999 was a really, really dry year. Then we had Hurricane Floyd come through. But that dry year, there were a lot of wells that were replaced in and around Naysville because a lot of the shallow wells were going dry. Those mostly were replaced within the area around Naysville Quarry. They had a different agreement for Salford Township. So that may be part of why we don't have as many people. They already went dry and then were re-drilled to be deeper, but that's, we'll see if I can find, I know it's somewhere, I still have the original copies of that big plan of what diameter and who's within 1,000 feet or 2,000 feet. All right, sorry. Any other public comment coming up? Mr. Krauthamel.
Just very quickly, I just wanted to mention that October 30th, 7 o'clock, I believe, here, we'll have a meeting, special meeting of the JRA to explain, an informational meeting to explain plans of the Holiday House for major renovations that relate back to the referendum. So if anybody's looking for information as to what the rules plans are, how they would use that, what the process would be, we invite you to be here October 30th, 7 p.m.
Yep. Yep. Sorry, I should have mentioned that earlier. It is an information only meeting, so it's not a decision meeting. So it's more of an information session. So we aren't making decisions. We're just hoping anybody who's got any questions about the prior financing of Holiday House, the future financing of Holiday House, how we work this out, and any questions about the ballot initiative, which is coming up for November. So it's going to be 2 weeks from now here. We'll be looking at 7 p.m. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. And all right.
I'll make the motion. Adjourn.
I will second the motion. All in favor? Aye. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming out.